Welcome back to the channel and hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, guys. It helps so much. As a reminder, we're also available over on Odyssey, so check the links down in the description. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the crypto fear and greed index. A new high of 23 over the last several days. We dipped way down below as the Bitcoin price dipped into the $29,000 range. That's to be expected. I think most of us we saw that coming when the price of Bitcoin dropped, right? Fear also rose right alongside that Bitcoin price dropping. So we're back into the 23 range. We're not quite outside of the extreme fear range, but that reading of 23 is putting us into extreme fear still. I think that this bodes very well for those of us who are just keeping a very conservative strategy, keeping our heads on straight and putting some of our own fiat money into Bitcoin with a dollar cost average strategy. Certainly that's how I feel about it for my money. Am I giving you advice as to what you should do with your money? No, I am not. If you're new here, I don't give advice, and I hardly even take a look at any meaningful charts. So if you had that idea in your head, put it straight out. All right, so let's take a look at also the sponsor for this show, which is the Freedom Phone. Which Freedom Phone? Well, the one that I launched a year ago and has now had its name sullied. Really, that was a working title for this product, and by any other name, it's just a Google Pixel device with Calyx OS pre-flashed on it, and then a privacy shield placed on the front. So you notice right there, just the right angle. That is to say, very few degrees of offset. You can't see the screen, as well as a protector, high-speed charger, and wall wart. That is to say, everything that you need to make it look good. We're also including a Faraday bag, because why would you need some cloth bag that looks like the American flag? Really, if you want that, I mean, sure, that may play well in some of the southern states. And I mean, if you're in Puerto Rico, you can turn the Puerto Rican flag into any kind of clothing or accessory like handbag or hat or whatever you want to do. But here in the United States, if it's not a Faraday bag, I don't know why you put your phone in it, because it's not going to help you be any more private or more free with your speech. Anyway, rant over. If you want the real deal, go to money.biz, pick one up. They are $3.99 plus flat rate shipping, and on our site, all items ship for $5 flat. This is the Pixel 3a device. We are upgrading to the Pixel 4 XL very, very soon. We have a little bit of inventory to get through right here, so I may be discounting the price you see right there for the Pixel 3a, just so we blow this stuff out. But keep your eyes peeled, and who knows, if this is something you're interested in, then pick one up. If you're not, obviously, don't click away. Guys, don't leave. This is important to me, right? I put some thought into this, the OS that went into it, the accessories that go onto it, and the price that it's being sold at, and the fact that it's going direct to you from the person who actually did the work himself, not being drop shipped from a factory or being drop shipped from AliExpress. So again, wow, I just totally did a hit piece in the middle of my news report, didn't I? Let's get out of here. Let's take a look at some other brief, relevant news. Bitcoin Depot announces a long-term partnership with Circle K in the US and Canada. Guys, Circle K to do what? To install Bitcoin ATMs. That's right. At most Circle Ks, 700 locations, right, in 30 states. There will be 700 Bitcoin ATMs installed, meaning when you are going to pick up some kind of a convenience-oriented item like a slushie or like a Monster Energy drink or something, you'll be able to take your spare cash, your spare change, and anything else that you have, and convert that into Bitcoin so that you're not carrying around dirty fiat with you. You are able to conveniently, when you're pumping gas or picking something up from the Circle K, be able to pick up some Bitcoin and squirrel away those extra dollars before they get inflated into oblivion. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think this is super bullish for Bitcoin. We might not see the effects of this for another little while, right? It could be a few weeks, it could be a couple months still, but I do think that we have another leg up in this bull run. I don't think the bull is done doing what bulls do. Again, hashtag not advice, but I really do think that this is a really healthy sign of the market not going away, not dying. And definitely, this is far better than people just having GBTC available to them as retail. I think it's far better for people to have the native asset, and this helps to facilitate it in the most decentralized and a very privacy-respecting way. This is a phenomenal thing, really, guys. Bitcoin ATMs are awesome. Smiley Gnome, if you're watching the show, I'd love to have you on the show so we can talk about Bitcoin ATMs as a business. There may be people here in the audience who want to switch their focus strictly from working with mining gear into running Bitcoin ATMs. It's a business you can run. So anyway, we should talk to somebody about that who professionally runs that style of business, don't you think? I think we should. Let's see if we can get him on the channel. All right, so that's pretty much the extent of our news, guys. Let's jump into what to mine numbers and figure out, starting with Team Green, we'll go from the top down to the bottom instead of the other way around this time, see what our prices are. Again, we're back to 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Profitability of 3 days. I'm taking Matic-based payouts right on Polygon Network. I mentioned on the last episode why that is. The fees are going to increase on Ethermine. Even though they claim to be paying out more of MEV to the miners, they're going to take the fees for payouts and assess those to the miners instead of paying them themselves, even though they're the ones organizing the block, right? It feels like you can't win sometime, right? Like you sold your soul to the company store, right? When you went out there prospecting, looking for digital gold, that the company store pretty much got the best deal, selling you shovels and selling you a good spot to go sift, right, for your little nuggets of gold. I don't know. We may look back on this time with some regret. I don't so far. I'm very excited about my experience in mining, and I think we're going to have that validated very, very soon. All right, so all the Team Green top tier cards. Woo, that's not exciting. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going the value plays. I got really confused there for a minute. So 1060, 1660, 2060, and 3060 get us a daily total of about 559 across all four cards. In Ethereum at the top of the pack, but second place as far as the native asset is Zano, not RavenCoin. I'm a little bit surprised by that, to be honest. It's only by 1 cent, but maybe there's something happening with the price action of Zano that puts it into that position. Maybe there's something happening with the price action of RavenCoin that's doing that too. Bitsby tripping down in Miami. He went to the most recent mining conference, and his reports from there is that there's a lot of interest in RavenCoin right now. I think because of that trading volume. See, daily volume is 32 Bitcoin right now, as opposed to Zano's 9 Bitcoin. Obviously, Ethereum is far more liquid, right, with thousands of Bitcoin of daily volume every single day. However, the rest of these coins that we're pointing our GPUs at, they really don't come close to RavenCoin in terms of that liquidity, that trading volume. So that's something to think about, something to consider. Really, Ethereum Classic is the only one that even comes close, but it's buried so far down in the profitability that we're unlikely to turn our GPUs to that right now. However, that could flip because of Ethereum Classic's relative liquidity against RavenCoin. Anyway, I don't want to get too mired in that right now. Let's take a look at some of the other numbers. Team Green going to the top of the list: 3090, 2080 Ti, 1660S, and 1080 Ti. Let's calculate, see what our numbers are. Again, I've also got another filter, by the way, just worth mentioning, of over 5 Bitcoin per day. We could take that filter off and look for our micro caps and our gems and such, but I don't think that's very wise for us to do right now. I'm not in the middle of this bull run where some of us are looking at possibly liquidating altcoin bags in favor of consolidation towards Bitcoin, nearing that parabolic run-up of Bitcoin. Now, will altcoins outperform Bitcoin? Well, historically they have at this phase of the market. So your mileage may vary. I don't know. It's a very dangerous game though, right? Some would say, I mean, if Nemesis were on the show with me right now, he would say you're gambling your future on altcoins, and he may be right. You know, there could be a significant run-up with altcoins, but if you miss that exit point, if you miss that exit ramp, right? It's like when you're on the interstate, right? You're in a state that you're not used to, and you miss that off ramp. You got to go 5 miles down the road, you know, turn back, come back around. The other exit is 5 miles past that one, because just your luck going that direction, there isn't an off ramp to, you know, right when you're headed northbound. You know what I'm talking about, right? It winds up being this like very circuitous detour. If you miss your exit point with your altcoin play, you could miss out big with Bitcoin. So for me, I'm always very cautious about that with altcoins and with the much lower market cap coins where they have fewer than 5 BTC of daily volume. Well, guess what? Using that same analogy, that's why it takes you so long. Maybe you do liquidate a little bit, but it's kind of like veering off the side of the road and you realize you haven't slowed down enough. You can't really exit. That's a bit like divesting yourself of some of those bags. Then you realize, if I dump all of them, I will move the market, and so I better dump it all, or I better not dump any, right? I've got a problem here. Probably better just stay on this path and hodl, but then you wind up hodling yourself out into Timbuktu, right? Before you know it, you should have taken that left at Albuquerque, and all of a sudden, you're way out in Pensacola. I don't even think that really actually works geographically, by the way, so don't read too much into that. But you know what I'm talking about. You got to keep your head on straight. You can't just ride this thing all the way one direction because you'll miss out. So, guys, looking at our profitability, again, the lion's share is going to go to that 3090 RTX. It's about $12.06. Again, the second place is Zano. Again, the third place is RavenCoin. And again, the difference between the two is not very high. So we're going to take a look at our charts, our portfolios in just a little while and try to figure out what's going on there. Firo is on the leaderboard as well. And then Ethereum Classic far behind, but not too far behind if you have strong faith in that project, which... I mean, let's be real. With Ethereum Classic, I don't know why you would. Tell me in the comments section why you think it's worth having massive faith in Ethereum Classic with all the 51% tax and problems that it's had. You know, I'm willing to hear reason if you've got some, but I'm not seeing it personally. All right, so let's go away from Team Green. Take a look at our top tier, or let's just like consolidate here and go with just our very top of the line of the 6,000 series card, and then our very bottom of the line in the 5,000 series card. And so we're going to do a composite number here. It's a little bit different, I know, guys, but the lion's share is going to go to that 6,800 XT, and then the lamb's share is going to go to that 5,600 XT. It looks like Ethereum Classic, or Ethereum again, top of the list, $5.55 per day. Why don't we go ahead and take that out and let's see what the percentage is there. Yep, so it's about a 60-40 split, almost exactly a 60-40 split between those two. So 60% of that profit is going to go towards that 6,800 XT. And RavenCoin now second place, Ethereum Classic now third place in terms of native assets, and Ergo makes it onto the leaderboard. It actually shows up at all. You better have a lot of conviction about Ergo, I think, to start mining it. I don't know that I have seen enough to justify that for me right now. There was a time, as you know, that the leaderboard showed Ergo being really high in the stacked rankings for GPU mining. So I don't know, maybe we'll see a reversal, some kind of a change there. Maybe things happen when the test nets for Cardano actually start shipping and we actually start seeing smart contracts in the wild. I mean, we've been waiting for smart contracts on Cardano for years. We've been waiting for smart contracts on Cardano almost as long as we've been waiting for proof of stake on Ethereum, guys. We're getting tired, right? People have literally died since we started waiting, right? Like, without being insensitive, right? Like, we've had project leadership, we've had people who run different exchanges and stuff that hold these assets literally pass away and take the keys with them while we've been waiting for Cardano to actually ship a smart contract. So I don't have a whole lot of faith that that's going to work out in the favor of Ergo, but the auto Lycos algorithm clearly works very well for GPUs. So it's there on the leaderboard. Take that for what it's worth. All right, looking at the 8 gig Polaris card. Oh, nope, I'm getting ahead of myself. The Radeon 7. And on the Radeon 7, we've got top of the list again, Ethereum, as you expect, just over $5 a day. Second place is Ergo. My gosh, didn't I just literally start talking trash about Ergo? Yeah, I did. That'll show me in my big mouth, but there it is. It's second place in the native asset category, but it's a significant drop of over $1.50 per day. And then Ethereum Classic, a distant third as well. RavenCoin also on the leaderboard, but way distant there. Now, the Vega 56, not the Vega 64, but the Vega 56, so entry-level Vega HBM2 card. Ethereum all day, $2.45. So it looks like profits are coming down just a little bit, guys, and we've only been 24 hours since the last report, guys. Today, I got a request from a community member saying, hey, Seth, we really need to see these every single day. And I'm starting to see that right now with the market as it is, you're probably right. We probably do need to be monitoring this. And I'm showing you averages. I'm not showing you 24-hour profitability. Even with the averages, the moving average of 3 days is shifting significantly in terms of GPU mining profitability. So maybe this is worth doing, guys. Give me a solid thumbs up and give me some kind of an indication in the live chat right now, guys. Just a big old, like, whatever dab guy, right, in the emoji down there in the live chat. If you think I should be doing this every single day for the rest of the bull run, I'm happy to do it after the new Fear and Greed report comes out every single day. I'll make something like this and then promote it on, or do the premiere, right? Premiere it on YouTube so we can be in the chat together. I find that if I'm reading the comments, though, while I do this for the live stream, I get really distracted. And what normally takes me about 30 to 40 minutes takes me over an hour and a half. So I don't want to waste your time. I just want to bring you value, guys. If this is valuable, let me know. Hit the dab in the comment section or in the live chat, and then you'll let me know. All right, so That's our Vega 56 going into the Polaris 8 gig card. Now, I'm a little bit too excited by this because I have some of these and I've been working with Polaris a lot. As if you guys saw my eBay store, pushed a whole lot of 4 gig cards out, and it's obviously like regretting that because they immediately went back to profit right after I sold them, but like higher profit right after I sold them. But here we are. So we've got some Polaris 8 gig cards that are back in the money big time, hitting that calculate button. And of course we've got Ethereum top of the stack, but no, and you know what? Profitability is pretty close for this also, about $1.45. I wasn't expecting that, but we're below $1 on RavenCoin. We're below 80 cents on RavenCoin. There is a bit of a difference there, so maybe there is quite a dip in RavenCoin profits right now, and maybe it has something to do with the Miami conference. Maybe Bitsby Trippin has some insight there. I'm going to go ahead and tag him in the description of this video because I'm really curious now. He made mention of the larger scale GPU mining operations paying attention to RavenCoin, so maybe we're seeing some increased competition, and maybe we should take a look at those difficulty charts on RavenCoin. Could be that some of us small, like at-home and mid-scale miners, that we get priced out because of the entry of larger scale mining facilities. So we'll see, right? Perilous times. Ethereum can carry all of us. Clearly, RavenCoin might not be able to. We might get edged out really fast as all that hash rate turns to it, and we wind up representing a much, much smaller percent of the net hash, but we'll see. Take a closer look in just a little while. Ethereum Classic also on the leaderboard, actually 1 cent per day more profit than RavenCoin on these Polaris cards. Let's see what the deal is on 4 gig Polaris cards. Calculate for that. And again, we're using averages of 3 days here, guys, which I think will also be relevant for these coins because of the pool payouts. But RavenCoin is top of the stacked ranking at 79 cents. And Ethereum Classic is below 70 cents. So I'm not totally sure what's going on there. Maybe there is a performance delta between the 4 gig and 8 gig cards, or maybe there is a bit of a discrepancy in the numbers here. Let's take a look at Ethash 4G, 27.9, Ethash 4G, 30.5. Got it. Okay, that tells me what I need to know. And it could be that that's our problem. Let's take a look at what happens when we go to 30.5 for that Ethash 4G, which I think is probably a better representation because that's what the 8 gig card does for Ethereum. And you can tune those 4 gig cards to do 30 mega hashes or more. So if the DAG file limitation is not a problem, then we should see, there you go, we should see parity between those two and 1 cent higher again, just as we saw with the 8 gig card. Sorry about that, guys. I made a mistake. I probably need to make some custom profiles here, so bear with me. It's just been a bit, it's been kind of a crazy time in the middle of this current market where I've been doing paid reviews. I've been getting hardware sent to me. I've been interacting with sponsors. I've been having conversations with companies that potentially want to onboard me for creating additional brands and media for them. So it's, you know, it's hard out there for a hustler, and this is what I do, guys. This is what I'm not the YouTube channel per se, but I'm living this life. So running online stores and running various other small industries, right? It all adds up. But all of this is part of what's taking up all my time. So thanks for being along with me for the ride. But that helps fix that problem, right? That helps solve that problem. That helps answer that question. Let's go away from the 570, go all the way down to the Fury. So first generation HBM card by AMD. And we've got RavenCoin top of the list, 72 cents every single day. And Zano, not too far behind. Ethereum Classic and Beam also on the leaderboard with Ergo way down there. And also the R9 380. It's still on the list. Why? Because even though it's an ancient card, what to mine sees very clearly that there may be people who have that generation of AMD silicon in their mining rigs or in their older farms. Like, I mean, guys, there are thousands of these out there. There are thousands of these cards. Before the Polaris Edition cards became popular for mining, there were already thousands of these being used for mining. So they're out there, and they're out there in cheaper territories, right, where the cost of power is far cheaper. Think about like right now in El Salvador, for example, or in Venezuela, for example, where North American miners were saying, oh, I give up. This R9 380 is just not giving me enough yield. Well, if you work next to a hydroelectric plant in Venezuela and your cousin happens to manage the place, and you know you can get some of their unsold power, either cheap or free, dude, you're going to get anything that mines, anything that hashes at all, and you're going to get it running for you, right? You're going to get it mining for you and for your family. So our normal considerations, they don't apply globally, right? So the R9 380 still relevant, and it shows right here. So running that calculation on the R9 380, Ethereum Classic still pretty high on the list. And you know what's funny? The R9 380, I think, is probably even if memory serves, it's actually capable of doing even better than 20 mega hashes per second on Ethereum. So we may be able to get some better numbers there as well. It could be that on Ethereum Classic, we're looking at profitability every single day that's on the order of almost what a Polaris 4 gig card does. Maybe not quite, but higher than what we see right here. Also on the leaderboard is Ergo, right? It's in the profit. It's not super high in profit, but it's in profit at all. And same with RavenCoin, just barely above break even there. Almost everything else is underwater. So, whew, man, that's crazy, guys. What a time to be alive. What a time to be GPU mining, right? Mining, making money, making coins, securing networks with GPUs and getting a block subsidy back. It's crazy, right? If anybody had told you 10 years ago that you'd be doing this, would you believe them? I don't think I would have. I think I would have thought like, that's cool, but it sounds like a scam, right? Like I probably would have actually thought that. I don't think that I had an open enough mind towards where things were headed. And I mean, Bitcoin existed. That's what I'm saying, right? Like some of us may have tangentially heard of Bitcoin or even known people who worked with Bitcoin. And I think that a lot of us would have thought initially like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I have total faith in that system yet. For me, it took a lot of conversations with people who were already doing it and running mining pools to be able to say like, okay, no, I get it. I see it now. Okay. Like I was able to see like a more 360-degree view and finally be convinced that it would work. But guys, I'm just mind blown that we still have this opportunity to do this. So here we are over on the Brains OS, the Brains hash rate calculator or profitability calculator for Bitcoin. Let's start with our Bitmain Antminer S9, and let's bring our cost for power all the way up to 14.1 cents is the bare bones minimum. So right at 14 cents, what are we looking at? We're looking at $32,000 Bitcoin. Just like yesterday, guys, this is an important number. It's a fairly key level, in my opinion, fairly key level for support moving forward for Bitcoin, right? Like we saw when Bitcoin broke below that a few days ago, that it broke all the way down to 29,000s. Now, this is not me offering technical analysis or advice, but I did read some of the technical analysis of other people who mentioned 32,000 being a key support level, and we broke down below it. So it's going to be kind of like, I don't know, this is not me saying like to sell your S9s, but man, if I had a bunch of S9s in production right now, I would be strongly considering it. I really would be, and trying to move it into markets where there is free or much cheaper power, or I'd be looking at co-location to absolutely ensure that I get the very best out of it. I saw some materials from Bitsby Trippin coming back from that conference for some co-location facilities that are offering 5-cent power. And I think that's where you can actually make a case for this S9, right? You'd have to have 5-cent power to make that work. Now you're looking at one full Bitcoin for about $11,000, $11,500. And even if we break down to the most, the absolute basement of what support is for Bitcoin, I think you're probably fine, right? Mining through the rest of this market on an S9, if that's your acquisition price per Bitcoin, I think you're probably okay. Anyway, so just throwing that out there, guys. I don't have any ready recommendations for a co-location facility. Red Panda Mining, if you're watching, I'm going to tease him because I know he's had an opportunity to maybe acquire a warehouse. But Red Panda Mining, we need you. You're our only hope. Not really. I mean, he knows also it's dangerous, but like, wouldn't that be cool if he did? Anyway, if he's watching, just consider it, man. If you can get really, really cheap power, a lot of S9s that would be going your way, I think. Let's take a look at our other hardware profile, the WhatsMiner M20S. I think this is something that I'm very, very comfortable looking at, not recommending, right? It's not advice, but looking at, because at even 14 cent per kilowatt hour power, which is like terrible, right? For ASIC mining. Even at that rate, you're still mining one full Bitcoin for under $20,000, about $18,500 US, which, again, all things considered, based on the current price action, kind of moving sideways for Bitcoin over the last several months, that's really not terrible. You know, that's not the worst scenario. We've definitely seen far, far worse. So, yeah. That's the cost to mine one full Bitcoin right now, guys, between two different hardware profiles. Let's take a look at our portfolios. Portfolio. Where are you, portfolio? All right, moving at the speed of the internet. I'm over on CoinGecko just because it's easy, guys, and I know I should be making more spreadsheets, but again, these markets are moving so fast that sometimes you just have to use tools that are available and air quotes good enough so you don't miss out on some of the potential for growth and alpha, right? So let's go into our GPU mining portfolio first. RenBTC and Wrap Bitcoin still at the top of the list. Not a lot of movement there. Total P&L for this side of the portfolio is negative 37.2. Again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, top of the list. Zano is now in 4th place. And it looks like, yeah, there's been a flip in between Zano and RavenCoin. Looks like, just looking at really briefly at the charts, Zano had some kind of a pumping activity, and RavenCoin had some kind of a, well, really a more, it looks like a more correlated movement right there. That formation looks like it's a lot more closely correlated to Bitcoin. So it looks typical of what we would expect for most other alts in a market like the one that we're currently in. That's not too shocking to see the price of RavenCoin doing what it's doing. If anything, it's a lot more shocking to see Zano, right, pop up the ranks the way it has. I mean, that's like a quantum leap forward. It was middle of the pack before, but now it's definitely leading it in terms of the alts, right? These much smaller caps or mid caps. Again, only 33.5 million in market cap, and still coin price of only about $2.50. So let's go ahead and, I think we really should take a slightly closer look at that chart really fast, and same with the RavenCoin chart. Maybe, guys, let's go ahead and pull up miningpoolstats.stream as well to get the full story on these. I think that these are going to be very interesting coins in the next several weeks, right? As far as the London upgrade on Ethereum, right? We're all like biting our fingernails off, waiting for the beginning of August when we see the London hard fork actually happen, right? Roughly August 4th. Knock on wood, right? We'll see what actually happens there. But when that London update happens, we're going to be looking for places to put our hash rate that's safe and that we don't get wrecked on. Now, it could be possible that we're going to be just fine, right? I don't want to spell all doom and gloom. And it is entirely possible that some of the models that have been put forth by like Michael Carter from Bitsby Trippin', who did some phenomenal work there, right? Did some phenomenal work. But it's always possible that the market just does a crazy Ivan, right? And he's been around the block enough to be able to know that like markets don't always do what you think they're supposed to do. And sometimes even like network security in blockchain doesn't always do what you think it's supposed to do. It doesn't necessarily show network utilization in terms of velocity and in terms of transaction volume and liquidity, right? Sometimes order book crypto is crypto, and it tells more of the story than just network security. And it's frustrating as all get out, right? Because we're like, yeah, no, you got to be more secure. Like, what happens if you get wrecked? Like, somebody comes in and 51% attacks you. And then they do, right? Like Ethereum Classic. In a perfect world, we'd have both, right? There'd be phenomenal order book crypto happening. So all the nerds who are trading over in New York and like, oh yeah, I wouldn't sully myself with Bitcoin mining or, crypto mining. Like, they do their job, we do our job, and everybody benefits, right? Like, hopefully in a perfect world, that's how it works. And that's how coin prices and values go up, is that we see a little bit of like a 360-degree cooperation from all the different sides of what makes a coin successful, right? All the meme makers and all the guys who like post on Reddit and stuff, and everybody who like goes out and spams their links everywhere else, or like actually creates community somewhere else. And then all the people who trade and all the people who do the tech, right? Actually pushing updates and offering pull requests for stuff that's broken, creating wallets and doing all the other stuff that is required to make a coin succeed. You want to see it all happen together. But yeah, I think we need to look at more data points to kind of get a better sense for what's going on with specifically Zano and RavenCoin. I think it's going to be interesting, guys. So there they are towards the middle of the stack. Moving farther down, we've got Flux, which I still haven't been able to see an appropriate readout here. And Daniel Keller, if you're watching, man, can you do me a solid? DM me a link over on Discord so I can please add a data point here, because you're right here in the middle of the pack, right? And I love seeing you there. It's great. But I think that you mentioned we could get better data. I'd love to get that feed from you so that we have a little more info here, because again, we've got that weird decorrelated chart, right? With a little bit of a dip based on the recent dips, right? The inverse Bart Simpson over there on Bitcoin, but then it came back with a vengeance, right? And it did almost a full upright Bart Simpson. Like it corrected just aggressively and came back strong, right? Flux at over 10 cents. Phenomenal, guys, right? Like that's pretty awesome. And this week, you're net positive at 3 times the net positivity of Bitcoin, even with that 24-hour recovery, right? You've recovered over the last 7 days very, very well. Then again, like, look, I see Zano has too. Like, again, there's some interesting things going on with these rankings here. Would love to get more info and understand this just a little better. Polygon, of course, is just still kicking butt, taking names at $5.5 billion market cap, and also really strong recovery from that move downward earlier this week. Conceal, crazy spike up, I don't know what can possibly account for that really sharp spike up, and kind of decorrelated, but also kind of anemic price action there. Those formations are not super heavy, right? You see how it's like kind of slow channel down, very consistent. Even before there was that downward movement with Bitcoin, when it was ranging sideways, we had Conceal already kind of ranging down. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but there could be, if we were charting, I'd say that might be worth taking a look at as well. I think real currency just ouch, weird spikes before we got to that inverse Bart Simpson, and we still got a little inverse Bart Simpson right there, weird channels right there, total market cap below $1 million. Guys, I am very strongly considering getting rid of Rio from this portfolio. Maybe it's good to just see it for context, but I mean, I'm not in Rio right now. I don't mean to disparage it, and again, I'm not giving anybody advice to pick some up or not to pick some up, but it's a weird looking chart. It's a weird looking chart. I don't know what it would take for it to recover and perform better. Mimblewimble coin doing crazy things there, right? Like popping way up, but it was ranging sideways before, so decorrelated from Bitcoin also. And then bottom of the stack, we've got Haven, but still recovering strong. You remember how the last couple of days I mentioned it was below $3 and it went just above $3 yesterday. Now it's definitely recovering, guys. It is very much back. And I think that if the devs are doing their job, personally, this is just me, I think it's actually undervalued still. I think based on the percentage drop from where it was before, based on it specifically being kind of a scare, right? Like it's sort of like a community scare, people getting shaken out because of the bad news of there being a hack. I think it's actually undervalued based on how far it dropped and where it should recover to should the functionality come back to exactly what it was before. And the market cap and liquidity, I think, should justify that. So I'm also going to open up that Haven chart as well. Swap doing weird things on the chart, very weird things. I don't know how to account for that. I don't even know what that's all about. Well below $500,000 in market cap. It could be on life support. I don't know. But the price per coin is now 2 cents per coin, about 2.25. So it's not nothing, right? It's not without value, but I don't really know what accounts for it. And then BitTube seeming to make some kind of a recovery there, 14% up over the last week. So, hey, Saber, if you're watching, man, good job. Keep on putting in good work. Try to focus on a video platform, right? Just one. Just straight up, I'm just gonna ask you, man, either the PeerTube instance or the other platform. Don't try to do both. Maybe just try to focus on one thing, get it done really, really well. A video platform would be awesome. And, you know, Odyssey is out there kicking butt, taking names. You could too, right? Because of the token here. The BitTube token, I think, is far more sound because it offers fungibility and privacy at the base layer, the base protocol layer. So I think you've got something extremely unique and special there. So anyway, just an admonition to the BitTube community, BitTube developer community. You guys had something really special. There were some massive bumps. I'm just going to say, from my part, in my estimation, my view, mistakes were made, but I don't think it's too late to correct course. Anyway, that's our GPU mining portfolio in a nutshell there, guys. Hard drive mineable coins. Carrying the portfolio, still made safe coin, still above the $1,000 we put into our paper portfolio here. The total P&L is negative 27.14. All the way down at the bottom of the stack is still Chia, scraping 80% loss, almost all the way down by 80% since we made the portfolio, well below $200 per coin, which is still not nothing, right? I mean, that's crazy. But I feel for the people who went out and immediately bought tons of hard drives and tons of SSDs and tons of NVMEs and staked their reputation on, like, oh yeah, I'm all in with Chia. Guys, I was a conscientious objector. I was a whistleblower. I tried to get to you as soon as I could when I realized, hey, the economics here don't work, and I still think they don't. I had projects reach out to me who are forks of Chia, and I just don't think that they're really worth covering. I kind of don't, guys. I really don't. I think that if you try to fork a project that failed because of specifically governance, if that's your reason, when you say, hey, I can just fork this coin that had a pre-mine or took VC money, I don't think that's the right way to do it, right? And again, I mentioned it yesterday. I think that Chia's got a long road ahead of it, and it can probably recover because it's got money in the bank, right? They're going to be fine. They're not going anywhere. But right now, for us, woof, down 80%. 80% drawdown, totally decorrelated, almost totally decorrelated from the rest of the market. It just doesn't look quite the same. MaidSafe coin looks correlated to Bitcoin. Actually, all of these kind of do. And then I'm looking at it. The inverse Bart-Simpson is there, right? Just a little bit, slightly different shape for all of them. So maybe they are more correlated than I thought before, but there's already kind of a downward channel. You see that it's continuing to trend down, right? With Chia there, continuing with a downward channel. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Moving from the hard drive mineable coins into the CPU mineable coins, got some really great news coming out of the Monero developer team right now. Apparently, the proof of work mining algorithm appears to be possibly moving from just random X to solo mined random X, which is amazing. You guys, seriously, that's so amazing. I actually feel like I need a round of applause. And you're not hearing what I'm hearing. There you go. Right? Round of applause. Round of applause. Yeah, guys, I think it was worth it. We actually needed a round of applause because what Monero is doing. Good grief, too many W's. Wario. So what Monero is doing is special. That's important. If you have an algorithm like random X and you allow for pooled mining, then you have the incentives fully align for people who know how to create botnets to go and take over and create what Satoshi used to call zombie farms, right? And do zombie farming, right? I live not too far away from my old alma mater, and I love my alma mater, but man, the temptation has really, really gripped me sometimes because I know people who work in their IT department to just be like, hey, so I got this little update. It's so cool. Did I tell you I'm a developer now? Here you go, guys. This is my new antivirus. You should try it out. Become my first customer. And then like secretly mine on all like whatever 5,000 or 6,000 computers that are in like one wing of the school. It's tempting, right? It's very, very tempting. And an algorithm like RandomX perfectly aligns those incentives for bad behavior. They do, because since it's private by default, no one would ever know, right? Unless there's some other, like you did something very hackneyed in terms of the way that you actually deployed that miner to a giant facility, right? But there are incentives to create botnets right now with just RandomX alone. When you make it solo mineable alone, at bare minimum, that person needs to be able to create some kind of a cluster topology of whatever the computers are that are contributing to the mining first, right? It's one more layer of difficulty for somebody who wants to create a botnet. They can't just take a bunch of individual nodes and make them all mine to the same wallet. They have to first try to merge them as a compute cluster, like a Blade server is, right? Where you got a ton of little computers that are all under one chassis and that function essentially as one system with mega, buku compute. So I think this is a very good direction for Monero, and as a testnet for Monero, I think that we can expect really good things. Maybe this will make its way into Monero. Let's take a look at the chart. See, is it validated? No. Not yet. Nobody cares yet. But anyway, I think that should be at least applauded, right? Great job to the Monero team. I think it's a phenomenal thing that you're working on. Maybe I misunderstand a little bit of it. So if you want to reach out to me and set the record straight, or if somebody from the audience knows better, reach out to me, set the record straight. I don't want to be spreading misinformation or FUD, but as I understand it, that's the direction they're going. There's more to it than that, but definitely solo mining, I think, is an extremely important thing for CPU mineable coins, right? I think it's kind of important. Anyway, that's why Monero bottom of the stack. Raptorium still way up higher, but overall the total P&L is negative 38.7. Our CPU mineable portfolio is actually quite low compared to everything else. Even with the recent recovery, it looks like over the 1 week time frame, RavenCoin was our biggest winner in terms of. But that chart, man, geez, look at that. It's got like this solid. It's like a flat line support level down below, and then it's got these like heartbeat giant spikes upward. I don't know what's going on there, guys. That looks weird. Again, you've heard me say it before. Why is this even a consideration, guys? Why Why is it every time I see something that is based in the Komodo ecosystem, like we come back to it before, right? With Pirate Chain and now with RavenCoin again. I'm going to start, I'm going to add Komodo to the list just to see if there's correlation in those charts, because maybe what I'm seeing is some kind of a back-end system for the Komodo atomic DEX or something else that I don't understand the mechanics of, that in the background shows movement that we would normally interpret as some kind of wash trading. But to the untrained eye like mine, this just looks like some kind of weird manipulation. I don't fully understand it, but for a coin that costs 70 cents and has a market cap of tens of millions of dollars, this looks suspect to me. Just to me, looks a little weird. So anybody who wants to set the record straight, Frank from Varus, I mean, maybe I'll hit you up over Crypto and Coffee. Let's talk about this a little bit. Maybe you know a little something about it that you can illuminate my mind and my understanding with, and I really appreciate that. I don't want to FUD. I don't want to give bad info here, but that looks kind of weird to me, guys. All right, so moving into our ASIC mineable portfolio, total P&L down 33.58%, with our biggest loser, Horizon, but only at 50%. Isn't that sad? I'm like, hey, we only lost 50% from the portfolio. Yay! Oh my gosh. What do I become? What have we become? What's happened to us? This market is just like, it just does not relent. And top of the list is Decred, right? Not Bitcoin. Decred is a little bit above with, slightly better recovery, it looks like, and just a little bit more decoupled from Bitcoin. It actually started to recover faster than Bitcoin did. And then, Bitcoin in a second place. I wasn't used to seeing that, not used to seeing that. Normally, Bitcoin kind of takes the lead in terms of a portfolio like this. This will be a very interesting development to continue to cover over the next coming days, guys. That's super, super cool. Let's take a look at these charts a little bit closer, though. Just on CoinGecko, we're not going to go over to TradingView or something, but on CoinGecko, we see that over the last 24 hours, Zano, yes, it has dipped by 10%. So it's not like it's the last 24 hours that's done this with Zano. It's got to be something about the overall cumulative 7 days. So let's take a look at that, zoom out just a little bit. And we don't even have whatever. We don't even have our candlesticks here. Let's do that with candlesticks. Also, we can't determine the time frame when we do that, but let's go to a slightly bigger chart and go back to our candlesticks here. But it looks like, something really big happened. Ooh. Oh man. Okay, I was gonna try it, and I think I got too greedy, right? Number one rule: don't lose money. I lost money on that content. You lost money on that content. Sorry, we lost time. But anyway, so kind of weird, that channel there, the recovery back. This is a better chart actually for CoinGecko. Wow, I wouldn't have expected that, but this is the better chart here. So volume is looking the same over the last 7 days. Nothing really extreme has changed there over that's 24 hours still. Nope, 7 days. Actually, that does tell a much bigger story. So we definitely have much higher volume. Oh, what the heck? Volume was under $1,000. It was under $1,000 between the 17th and 18th during some of these time frames, some of these time periods here. So and that's these are 1 hour. So we had a couple hours here where the trading volume was below $1,000 on average, and then it pops all the way up to the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then we got that massive spike. Guys, something went on here. I'm again calling shenanigans here. Take a look to see where we are traded. Okay, so come on now, zoom out. Let me zoom out. Stop it. Oh, why won't you let me do it? Okay, so let's take a look. Take a look at this chart once again for Zano and scroll all the way down to see where they show it trading. Trade Ogre, and let's see, highest volume is over on Stex though, between Zano and BTC. That's weird. 24-hour volume, highest by far, by an order of magnitude, over on Stex. Don't know what's going on there, but the trust score here on CoinGecko has gone down for that. So guys, it looks like there's some kind of weird manipulation happening there. The fact that Zano is ahead right now, even though it's a 3-day moving average for mining, I can just say very safely right here, after looking a little bit more closely at it, that's weird. It's inflated somehow. Sorry. It looks like RavenCoin really is the true second place for most of those stacked rankings for mining. I don't even think we need to look at the RavenCoin chart at this point. Looking at 5.5 cents per coin, and it's up over the last 24 hours. But let's take a look at their 7-day chart, and I suspect that Nah, man, weird couple of days. Had a massive sell-off, or a lot of activity in terms of like that volume. They're selling volume, and this is in the hundreds of thousands as well. But over the last several days, it's calmed way down to 5 figures. Not all the way down to like 4 though, right? Where $1,000 per hour, it became the norm. This kind of looks a little bit more typical, right? $30,000 to $50,000 in volume, and then price action being dependent on some other news and some other factors. But here, looks like there was a giant spike in activity across all the exchanges. Let's check to see where that's listed as well. Looks like the highest liquidity or the highest 24-hour volume on RavenCoin is Binance by far, right? With almost $5 million of 24-hour volume. Yeah, that's just on the USDT pair. Looks like the second place with DigiFinX is there as well. I know that TradeOgre has a RavenCoin as well. I think it's very interesting that it's not listed here, but I'd be very curious to see what the volume is over on TradeOgre for RavenCoin as compared to some of these other centralized exchanges. Anyway, that's very, very interesting. Let's take a look at the Haven price as well, because we're starting to see a little bit of that recovery. I just find this very interesting, guys. I think it's going to be educational for me. Certainly, if you find it educational, then do me a solid and slam the thumbs up, share this video, and be sure you're subscribed. My analytics tell me that about 60 to 70% of you, sometimes upwards of 80% of you, are not subscribed. Every subscription makes a huge difference here, and really it'll help bring this channel over the 10,000 subscriber mark, which makes videos more visible to YouTube and helps us have more fun when we're hanging out on Discord, when we're hanging out on Twitter, and when we're hanging out here in the live comment section. So be a deer, be a peach, and go ahead and hit all those buttons, right? Click everything down below the video. Thanks. All right, so looking back at this price again, $3.28, and the chart. Looks like volume is over the last 24 hours pretty consistent, but let's take a look at the last 7 days. Well, we had the Haven team go out of their way to ask people not to trade when the hack was executed. Let's jump back in time a little bit, about 14 days, and you'll see, yeah, so these like really weird waves in volume, right, in trading volume as the price started to go down after that hack. 30 days, we see that's where we had the biggest problem there though, right? So end of June, when it became obvious there was a serious problem, and coming way down from $8 per coin with massive activity there. The one issue there though is that there will be a chain rollback, or there has been a chain rollback, so that is going to cause some problems for people who are still interested. We still have these like waves you see down the lower line down here, right? All this stuff of the volume. Right, the volume kind of fluctuating pretty heavily, but at its peak doing 8 figures of hourly trading volume, right? So that's pretty intense right there, back on the 28th. And then typical being below $1 million per hour on average of trading volume. Let's jump even further back in time, pardon me, and check to see how this looks. Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting and bumpy ride, man, with that peak value per coin of $26 on Haven. And here's what I'm saying, guys. Let's take a look at that. That's 90 days on Haven. And let me open up Bitcoin over here. Here's 90 days on Bitcoin. So right here, this is what? May. We call that May 8th, right? And here on Bitcoin chart, let's take a look at May 8th, right? So that's May 8th is the peak right here of that Head and Shoulders when we were up in the $50,000 to $60,000 channel on Bitcoin. I don't know what the heck. I don't know who left this here, but I got a couple of indicators and a couple of indicators that I don't really need on this chart. So my apologies. Let me get rid of these fibs. Get out of here, fibs. All right, so, but here, at the same time, Bitcoin was peaking and preparing for its downward move, right? And then we kind of got some despair, right? This is back when the sentiment also started to break down as well. Anyway, guys, I'm going a little long on this show. I wanted to go out of my way to take a look at some of these charts just because I find them very interesting. And I think that when we're looking at profitability for mining, I mean, for me, taking a look at some of these charts after seeing what to mine, that kind of helped inform me that maybe I shouldn't just switch my rigs to Zano, even though it looks profitable for the last 3 days over RavenCoin, and kind of helps me feel more comfortable mining RavenCoin with GPUs that can mine RavenCoin instead of Zano, or maybe even Ethereum Classic. It gives me a lot more confidence about the outcomes, changing my rigs to that. So that's why I did it this time, guys. Let's take another quick look at the Bitcoin chart here. Right now, just pull way over to where we are. Again, there's our current level right now. We're at 32.4, which is not bad, but there's those moving averages again. The fact that we came above, I'm not going to offer any kind of technical analysis here, guys. The answer as to like which direction the price is going to go is always just one of two things, right? It's like either up or down, and I'm not going to make any prediction there at all. But that channel of between 31,000 and 41,000 on Bitcoin has yet largely to be broken over the last several months, and the fact that we happened to go up into a what looked like a really bullish head and shoulders formation way above $40,000 all the way up to $64,000, I don't think is any indication of things of things being outside of this like 30 to 40K range. I still feel like my dollar cost average strategy and like my mining strategy is being validated, guys. I think the GPU mining is the right way to go still. As far as like the at-home mining contributor, I've got GPUs that can be used in my kids' workstations and in their gaming rigs and in my workstation and in my gaming rig. And so that kind of makes sense to me. These are things that are already allocated for what my family will use. I don't have a massive mining operation at home. So I kind of feel like I'm doing, I think, about what Satoshi intended, just using hardware that I already had. So I feel like this is all kind of validated for me, guys. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for hitting that thumbs up. Thanks for sharing. Really, it makes a difference. It really, really does. I don't mean to beg or whatever. It makes a difference getting the channel up above 10,000. So anything you can do to assist with that is greatly appreciated. Thanks so much. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to stay private and mind your biz. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.